warm welcome. It's another edition of the Coaching Hour. I'm Paul Rotherham, and this podcast is brought to you in partnership with Coaches Network South Africa. I'm joined, as always, by Mary and Mareka, as today we bring you an interesting guest. Mareka, tell us a bit about Bruce. This is interesting.
Absolutely. So Bruce Steyn is a very first-time guest, and he's a founder of Awaken the Alpha and a human potential architect, helping men move from drift to discipline, purpose, and legacy. And today we want to specifically then talk about awakening the alpha within, discipline, identity, and the end of drifting. Thank you so much, Bruce, for joining us.
Thank you, ladies and gents. It's a pleasure being here, and thanks for the invite. I really do appreciate it.
No, it's great to have you. So before we get into our topic, how did you get into this journey of, awakening the alpha?
Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, I'll keep it short. So, us men cry on the inside. We don't talk about our feelings, and when we do, sometimes it gets weaponized against us. Okay. And something happened to me in my relationship, and it was ripped the carpet from under me. And I stood at this edge of this mountain going, okay, where do I go now? Who can I speak to? Where's a group of men that I can just go and complain about? And we all just, because you can't speak to your friends. I mean, they just go, yo, let's go for a beer. And you go for a beer, and there's no real resolve. Being a coach for the last 10 years, like, who do I speak to? Do I speak to my mentors because they're like business driven, spiritual mentors? So I didn't have a real place to go. All right. So I started building one. And I think part of that is, I gave myself a purpose. So I created a space where men can come when they hurt, when they feel broken, because they're never broken, but when they feel broken, to come this way. And then I've created this group of over 150 men already that now follow this alpha road. And I'll explain to you what the alpha stands for. And, we're a group of men just all moving in the same direction, swiftly, not slowly. And we kind of drag the guys behind us, the guys that fall in, see that we're moving, and they don't have a choice but to move with us. Yeah, so in short, I didn't have a space to go where I was hurt. So I created a safe space for men to go when they are hurt and when they are struggling.
Yes. Okay, amazing. Now, what does this alpha stand for?
Look, I think we'll get into this. There's a couple of points that I'm put down here. I just want to read something, right? And
yes.
Chris Wilkinson. And when I heard this, it brought like a lump in my throat. And I think this sums up what I do and and he says, male depression gets treated like female depression. Men are made to feel love and accepted, but all men really want to do is feel capable and powerful. Give a man a purpose and the ability to achieve it, and he will crawl over broken glass with a smile. And I think that feeling of powerful, competent, valued, appreciated, and respected is something that will get a man so far. You give a man those things, and he will deal with suffering till the end of the earth. Take that away, and then men start drifting. They start escapism. They start doing the wrong things. And I think on this basis, I can move into the next part.
Absolutely.
All right. So during this journey of mine, like I'm very good at taking notes. So I keep journals, and how I feel at this stage and so when I went through anxiety, I wrote my anxiety journal and I read it. I found it actually, 3-4 months ago, and I couldn't even perceive who this person is that wrote this stuff. I was it's like a completely different person wrote that. And when I read it, I was like, wow, that is really rough. So I wrote this book called Awaken the Alpha, published and everything. And I wrote it for the man that, he knows that something is missing. He knows that something is missing, and he's designed for something bigger. And Paul, you're a man, you get to that point, you feel, you're looking around you and you're like, okay, I've got a house, I've got a car, I've got all these things, but there's something missing. And when you get to that point, you kind of go, okay, what now? Where do I go? Who can I go see? And then you go life coaches, and you go all discover and buy courses, and you sit with these courses, and actually nothing happens. So when a man gets to that point and he asks, what's next? he comes to Awaken the Alpha. Right. So now, Alpha, the meaning of the word Alpha. The
Just to
5
interject,
letters.
Bruce, it sounds like
Yes.
you're describing midlife crisis. And I think it's something that
Man.
we go through, but somewhere between our 40s and our 50s, we start having these DMCs, as my daughter refers to them, these deep, meaningful conversations. We start reflecting on who we are and what life is really about and where's the meaning and so forth. And I think that's common. Um, it's kind of it's a given that at some point around those years you will start experiencing that. I'm assuming that's what you're kind of plugging into here.
Um, you won't believe some of my clients are 23, some
Yo,
are 56, others are 59. So I think with the availability of information we have these days, I don't think it's limited to a specific age group. I think it's more at a specific awareness point. Okay, can I
Mm.
rather call it that? So the
mm,
moment you get that awareness of, okay, who am I really in this big world of ours? I don't think I experienced it at what, 34, 34. So I was an atheist as well till 34. And then I encountered everything, and then my whole life shifted, and this is kind of where where I am now. Okay, so back to the word alpha. So the A is, first of all, we discussed this, is for awareness. Okay, so the awareness of who you are not, what you're avoiding, and at what cost the awareness is keeping you at comfort, if I can say it that. Okay, so now you go, okay, Shibbit, I'm here. What now? Okay, so now I'm aware of I don't really know who I am. So now I have to go discover. And it's normally some guys try it in a sports car and at the bottom of a bottle, and there's all these escapism things, but you actually just go figure it out in the mirror.
Mm.
That's who it is. So men aren't really lazy. We're just unconscious, if I can say that. Okay, and then the L is for legacy. A man without something bigger than himself will always feel lost. Okay, so we have to have something we chase bigger than ourselves. And then purpose, that's the P for alpha. Purpose is not a job title. Purpose is who you decide to become in service of others. Okay, that's how I label that one. Okay, voluntary suffering is a must for a man. You have to
Mm.
do something where you go, I don't want to do this, but I know it'll make me better. So I am going to do this. And that's kind of where discipline comes in.
Mm.
And in the honor part, the H, this is where men feel value, respect, and appreciated. I mean, give a man those 3 things and he'll conquer the world. That in my sense, that's what that encompasses love. We don't really want big gifts unless you're buying a Land Cruiser, because I'll take that. But other than that, if you respect a man, you value him, and you appreciate him, I mean, what more does a man really want? What more does he need? You understand? And then slap a purpose onto that. Oh my goodness. That's when you run through walls.
Mm.
And then the last A is for action. Clarity without action creates frustration. Okay. And it brings me back to that old thing, knowledge is power. It's the biggest load of nonsense there is.
mm.
Knowledge is not power. Knowledge in motion is power. So, and then comes the action part. All right. So in short, that's what the alpha, awakening the alpha within you stands for. All right. So it's in service of others, legacy, and just creating something bigger than yourself. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go change the world and go rescue whoever. Your community is the problem that you face. That's your purpose. That's your community. That's who you must help next. And my company logo is a mountain with 4 guys climbing, and the top guy turns around, he holds his hand and he pulls up the next guy. And hopefully that's what my company does to inspire others.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm.
I see you're
Fascinating.
quite.
Now,
Oh, sorry, Mareka.
you can continue.
I, I was just going to say, Bruce, it sounds as if it's quite male centric what you're speaking of. Am I right?
For this one, yes, it is very male centric. To be honest, I'm very intimidated by women. Okay. You guys are smarter than us. You are more competent at a lot of things than what a man could ever be. Right. When I introduce myself at these functions, I normally go, my name is Bruce. I'm not that smart, but I pick up heavy things. And it kind of puts a grin on the people's faces, and then we can start the conversation from there. But my first talk I did was in front of 127 women. When I said I want to be a motivational speaker, they said to me, there's an event, anxiety, depression topic. I'm like, great, I'm in. I'm content rich, I can go. Set up the thing, got there, and 5 minutes into this, I looked around and there were just women. And I thought, shibbit. So I went to the organizer, I said, where are all the men? He said, no, Bruce, it's Exhaustion Women Branding, it's all women. I've never sweated that much in my life. And I think that's how I got over that intimidation of women. So for this, I speak to men because I feel men are born to lead. If a man falls into his position, so does the woman. I find that, we'll get to the modern masculinity and toxic masculinity in a little bit. I mean, that was part of the discussion we had as well, Marika, just to debunk that as well. But the moment a man falls into his place, so does a woman. And if you get that right, that's really where magic happens. Not a woman below a man ever, 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 ever. That's not what I'm saying. Just into the supportive role that, for the man to go crawl over broken glass with a smile for eternity.
How would you say, Bruce, is people misunderstanding how men deal with problems? You mentioned, men and women deal with depression or experience depression different. What are some of those misunderstandings that people assume is the same as with women in terms of that?
Okay. So this is a very difficult topic because my mother ended her life in 2019. So depression is very strong on my radar. Okay. And first of all, I would say to you, go see somebody professional. Don't speak to a friend. Immediately go speak to a professional so that they can just help you over that biggest hurdle. Okay. But pulling back to that, men become quiet and then women feel they become distant. And I think the myth in there is that we're not becoming quiet. We don't know how to express to you that I am depressed. You know what? This is making me feel a specific way. And because of that, I'm acting out in these 5 manners. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm not doing this anymore for you. And I'm sorry about that. But while I'm busy undergoing this, I please need your assistance in these following 5 aspects of my life. When have you ever heard a man say that? We don't. We become quiet and we pick up this massive cinder block and we carry it and we pretend like it's our own and I need to sort this out because we fix it. And speak to any man that you engage. He can fix 10 other guys' problems, but he can't fix his own. It's because he makes it his own and he becomes that identity. Instead of just looking, okay, what is this thing in front of me trying to teach me?
Yeah.
But we take it on and it becomes that proverbial cross that you carry and you make it your own. You become that personality. So we become extremely quiet, and it's not that we're distant. It's just that we're trying to figure out the best manner in what to solve this problem. And, a lot of times we can't. And then the flip side, not the flip side of that, the deeper end of that is men, 80% of suicides are men. Okay. Which is an alarming figure because men don't speak. We don't know how to. We were never taught. Man up, cowboy up. I was always taught, "Nee, pussy wees nie." That's what I was told. But define the word pussy. I don't know what it is.
What did you say? Just
I
repeat that.
Sorry, I was always told not to be a sissy, a pussy, a sissy. That's what I was always told growing up. If I cry, at 30, I had my first decent cry, and that was when I lost everything. So I was a multi-millionaire. I came from nothing, grew up in a very small village, built myself into a multi-millionaire at 28, lost everything at 30. I handed my keys back to MFC. And, then you realize maybe this world would be better off if I'm not here. Yeah. And I think that's...
What made you not end your life, Bruce? What changed?
I got in my car, Paul, and I have a sports car. At that time, it was my mom's car after she passed. I got it out of the estate. and it's an Audi. So I got on the highway at 270. I unclicked my safety belt, and there's this bridge that I know driving to Witbank. You go over a hill, and then I was going to act like I'm losing control, and then just hit the bridge, and then things would be over. No policies would pay out and whatever. And I was like an atheist. I convinced my friends not to believe in God. How could God exist? I explained that to me. Unclick the safety belt. Man, at that speed, 100 meters was probably what, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And there was this voice that came across me, and he said, "Not now, my child." The most calming voice. I can't explain it to you. It was just a voice that said that. And in that moment, I realized, what are you doing? I've got a son. I've got all of these things, going for me. And I took my foot off the gas, and I put the seatbelt on, and then I turned around, and I get emotional just thinking about it. But that was the first encounter with God, and that was the first time I realized that was very close, that I almost did it, because I believe, the guys who are really going to do it don't tell you they're going to do it. They don't take pills. They don't do, they laugh at the Sunday braai, and Monday they do it. That's how it happens. You don't talk about. So nobody knew about this, but obviously besides God and I, and that was the first encounter with Him. Yeah, and
Quite a
that
powerful
made me.
story.
Yeah, and that's how I kind of not did it.
I can relate to that because I had a similar thing. So I understand your story very, very much. And I appreciate that you're sharing it. Thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
So Bruce, this brings us to how masculinity is being misunderstood or interpreted. Because we spoke about that a bit also, the what's real masculinity versus toxic masculinity.
Yeah, I think in worldly terms, if you ask what's the difference between a leader and a boss, it's kind of the same thing. The one is toxic leadership, and the other one is just being a leader. And a leader leads out of love. I mean, my household, I lead out of love. It's not out of command. If my wife doesn't want to listen to me, I'm fine with that. But I know what the end result's going to be. And she normally comes to me and says, "Okay, listen, I did go do it. I'm sorry. This is what happened." So I think masculinity for me masculinity itself isn't toxic. Unintegrated masculinity is. And I think what that means is when strength exists without discipline, it becomes aggression. When leadership is demanded instead of being earned, it becomes control. If I can give advice to any dad or father or house leader out there, is start operating out of love. That's how leadership is born. Not out of
What is
I'm
love?
the boss. Oof.
Good
You see,
question.
my wife and I have this discussion on a regular basis. So there's it's such a broad term, but love is on top here, and it has like tentacles. So there's value, respect, loyalty. There's so many things that go with love. Right? Now, if I cannot give it, how must I earn it? How must I get it? If I cannot give love without expectation, who says that you guys will love me? When I give love, and the guys that meet me, I hug big guys. Man. Some of the guys on my groups are big guys, big names. And when I hug them, hello, you can feel them become soft. And it's in that moment where they realize I'm not there to judge, although I'm very hard. I'm a very hard coach. I am the guy that pokes you on your forehead, telling you that you're causing cuck and that you should not be doing this. That's the incorrect course of action. So I'm that guy that, from my history and growing up in the small towns, I'm really not afraid to poke a bigger guy than me on the forehead and tell him, listen, you need to sort yourself out.
Now, if someone grew up, being told, don't be a sissy, cowboys don't cry in front of their horses, etc. So when you are in your maybe 30s or 40s or even 50s, maybe you don't know how to express that love because you weren't taught how to. So even though you might want to and you hear these things, where does someone like that start, you know, to change their ways to, yeah.
Look, what's the most difficult thing for any person to do? The most absolute difficult thing to do? It's to change.
Mm,
Because if a person has to change, or they admit to, I have to change, it means that I've been doing everything wrong for the last 42 years. So now I must change who I am for what? And it's normally when the ego stops you. So first of all, when you get to the point where you say, okay, I'm ready to change. I want to change. I don't have to change. That's a completely different state. Like I have to go on a diet.
mm,
4 weeks into it, you back at doing whatever you want. So first of all, it's I want to change. Okay. So from that sinking in that I want to change, now I need to go figure out, okay, where can I do this in a safe space so that I can be, one foot in the water, then the other foot, then my shins, then my knee. Please don't go and dump whatever's going on in your mind on your partner day one. That's normally, it's so overwhelming for the person that receives it that they don't want to do with it. And your expectation is, tell me you love me and you give me this massive hug and everything will be fine. And normally it doesn't happen. They sit there like a deer in the headlights going, whoa, I did not know you're going through this. I don't know how to
mm,
handle it at this point. You understand? And that expectation from the man's side turns into resentment. And then you're stuck in a different loop.
mm,
So I would 100% say, if you are in a church, go to the men's group. Go if you are not in a church and you whatever religion or atheism or whatever, you will have people where you can speak to. Come to me if you want. I don't mind. Just find somebody that you can feel safe and just start opening up bit by bit by bit. Don't don't go all out. And you'll find that if you start doing that, it becomes easier. It becomes easier to speak about, sheesh, you know what? I actually had a tough day at work. My boss is nagging me and I feel useless at the office. Just saying that to somebody that doesn't go, oh man, don't be a sissy, or let's go for a beer. Just saying that to somebody where he
mm,
goes, yes, man, I don't know what to say to you, but you can speak to me at any time you want. Just having somebody say that is like a massive, there's like a weight dropping off your shoulders.
mm,
So just find a space like that. There are groups of men everywhere, thousand circles. He does functions all over. Reach out to me. I just join a men's group somewhere with men that understand it.
Mm.
Bruce, you've mentioned your group a few
That,
times now. What is the name of your group?
Awaken the Alpha. I
mm,
stick to I stick to the brand. Yeah, it's called Awaken the Alpha. And
Mhm.
for every man that joins, we say our welcome is welcome home, brother. That's how we greet the men that come into our world. So it's not a free for all. I interview the guys first because that determines which group they go. So there's guys that are still stuck in a victimhood. There's guys that are really ready to move, and there's guys that doesn't even know they don't even know that something's wrong. But
mm.
there's this feeling. So I try and put them in the correct groups with the correct guys.
And is this a group? We're living in a world now where, right now, for instance, we're all behind a screen looking into a camera. Is this something that is more virtual? Do you meet in the flesh? Where are you based? I'm just thinking there could be somebody listening to this now or watching this right now that would really like to reach out to you. And sometimes the geography of something can make a difference. So where are
Mm.
you, and how does the remote side of things plug in?
Look, I'm based in Pretoria. I have clients in Australia, China, London too. Canada one, so I meet him every Thursday morning, 5 o'clock. It's a horrible time to meet, but it's their time. So I
Mm,
do virtual meetings for the guys, but we operate on WhatsApp for now. I was explaining to Marek, I'm actually building my own platform to serve my clients, and then hopefully I can serve other coaches. I'm building this for free to the coaches to actually just, it's an accountability system. So the guys who come into the Awaken Alpha, we do push-ups. That's like how we build the brotherhood. And it's not, you don't take time out of your day. While you put the kettle on to make your morning coffee, you normally scratch your bum or pick your nose or something. You don't do that anymore. You drop and you do push-ups. And I guarantee you, I can do a lot of push-ups. I can do 63 one go. And from the moment that kettle goes, I cannot finish it before the kettle's finished boiling. I don't know where to buy a faster boiling kettle. If somebody can help me with that, I'd really appreciate that. But I mean, that's how we build a brotherhood. So, and you guys that can do 8 push-ups, there's guys that do 7, 8, there's guys that get close to 100.
Surely, if the idea is to do push-ups while you're boiling the water, a slow boiling kettle is what you actually need.
Yes, it's what you need, but I can promise you it's not what you want.
Yeah. No, but you're right, and I think that instills just that behavior. That instills, it's discipline. I was in the military for 3 years, and if you look at what they did and the psychology behind it, what you're doing is much the same. Is
Mm,
there's a lack, I think, sad to say, and I don't speak for every man, but generally there is a lack of discipline now in men. Let's be specific in the gender, and I think a lot of it has to do with an absent father, um, poor parenting, no discipline at schools. There are a whole host of factors that relate to that, but poorly disciplined men get very often onto the wrong path, and the end is seldom happy. We're living in a world where
mm.
people are afraid of discipline. We shouldn't be. We should be embracing it.
Discipline is the journey.
Yeah.
If I say to the guys, after 2 weeks, they say to me, "Oh, but Bruce, what's next?" After 2 weeks, you want to ask me what next if you've only done push-ups for 2 weeks. I say to them, do it for 3 months, then let's talk. It's about consistency. It's not about the push-ups. Those push-ups teach you more than what most of these guys do, and it's quick results. So after
Mm.
3 weeks, the guys go, yes. I look at myself differently in the mirror, and I go, okay, cool. Now I'm asking you what's next. What are we working on next? Where's your mindset at? What can we do? I run 7-day challenges for free once a month. Next month, on the 1st of Feb, I actually sent a link to Marika. I'm doing a mindset reset for 7 days. You understand? And that just gets the guys onto a different mindset. The guys that finish that, I ask really difficult questions, and I put them in uncomfortable positions to face things that they haven't faced before. And it's not because I'm vindictive. It's because I so hope that men step into the leadership position. I want to stand in front of God one day, and I want to ask him, how many lives did I actually impact? And the ripple effect of what I did should be so big where he just goes, no, I can't tell you.
Lost count.
I lost count. I have to actually go look for it. That's what I want to hear. And I think based on that
That's the legacy, eh?
that's the legacy. But no, my legacy is I actually want my kids to be able to turn money in any environment. I'm not leaving them anything. I want them to actually they get a house and a car or whatever, but I want them to be able to go to London and create a living for themselves, go to Spain, create a living for themselves. They must be able to go anywhere they want and create a living. That would be my legacy for them. Yeah.
Is money important to you, Bruce?
It is the best tool that you can have. It gives you options. It's not evil. Lust for money is evil. But if I didn't have money, I wouldn't be able to get in my car tomorrow, drive to Warmbad to go meet one of the new entries into my group that's really struggling. I said, don't worry, I will come to you. Don't stress. You don't have to come to me. I'll come to you. Now, if I didn't have money, I wouldn't be able to do that. And I'm not saying I'm very, 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 very far from being wealthy, but I have enough to serve the men that I do. So I can pay for my subscriptions at Zoho and all of these other places to make sure that I can do my job for them.
I like that.
So yes, money is important if you want to follow your calling. Remember, nowhere does it say you have to be poor following your calling. You must just learn to monetize things.
Yes. Just a quick question before we wrap up, Paul. If people want to buy a book, because I think that's also a very good starting, if someone doesn't feel comfortable to maybe join the group yet or really
Mm.
start talking yet, maybe they want to start with reading your book. Where can they find that?
It is on Takealot and Amazon. Amazon is obviously digital because they don't ship to South Africa, but that does ship internationally. It is on Takealot. I'll forward you the link. You can maybe post the link somewhere.
Perfect.
But also on the website link, I created a digital copy plus a number of extras on that link. I think it's $7. It's not a lot of money, but the book is on there. But join the free challenges first. Come see what we're about. Before you even look at spending money on courses, on books or whatever, come to us, come experience the guys, and then make a decision from there.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Bruce, you have
Lovely.
an
I love
interesting
it.
story.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it.
And sorry, I think I interrupted you there, Mary.
No, I said I'm so excited about what Bruce is doing, because it's something that is so desperately needed in the world. And I'm so proud that to say, that you've done a wonderful job listening to your inner voice and to follow your heart and not kill yourself there on that bridge that day, because the
Yes, me
world
too.
needs you.
Thank you, Mary. I do appreciate it. So I said to you guys, you must put a purpose much bigger than yourself. So my aiming point over the next 5 years is 1 million men. 1 million men in the next 5 years to join Awaken the Alpha. So that's my aiming point.
Hmm.
I'm on 150. So let's see. The
Amen.
count started in November last year.
It will expand by itself.
It
No,
will.
of course it will.
You just
If
have
you'd
to do the work, and it will expand. It just,
No,
if you'd like
100% I
yeah.
agree.
If you'd like to see the power of numbers, just go and Google the video that shows you how many rats there will be at the end of the year when you start off with just one pair. And you will soon see that organic growth is way more powerful than you ever imagined. So that
No.
150 could very easily become the million. And you don't need to be a rat to get there.
No, 100%. I agree, Paul. Thanks.
A powerful story, lovely testimony, and a pleasure to have you with us here on the Coaching Hour. Bruce Steyn, thank you for joining us. Marika, Mary, thank you. As always, a pleasure. And to you watching or listening to this, please do share your thoughts and comments with us. We always appreciate your feedback. And likewise, if you are in the coaching space and you would like to appear on this podcast, then please reach out to any of us. Marika generally books the guests, but you can reach out to any of us. Coaches Network South Africa is the mechanism for us doing what we do, and we'd really love to hear from you. From the team and myself, Paul Rotherham, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.